Hey, hey, I am here to give just a really quick, less than 5 minute tip that will hopefully help you with your beginning sewing. Remember, I teach kids to sew, that's my thing, but this is great for very beginners or people that are struggling maybe with their seam allowances, just getting started sewing. So we're going to talk about how just a quick, easy thing you can do to help you keep those nice straight seams. And a seam allowance is the space on the other side in between where you stitch and the edge of the fabric. So all of this right in here is the seam allowance. It's not going to show in your finished piece. So that's going to be taken up. So we'll do another quick tip about exactly what seam allowance to use for whatever you're sewing, but that is what it is. Very cool. I definitely recommend a bigger seam allowance for new sewers, just to keep your pieces from fraying out or coming apart at the end. A lot of times they want to sew really close, so try to keep it out. And that's why I'm going to show you what to do today, using all you're going to need are a sewing machine, thread, and some sort of easy removable tape. I usually use washi tape because it's what I have on hand. You can use painter's tape, something that's going to come off easier, because you're not going to want to leave it on there forever because you will want to change the width of your seam allowance over time. So that's it. Happy sewing, and I know you can do it. If this doesn't help you, look for other videos. There's lots of people out there, lots of ways to make sewing fun and easy, okay? So this is just the way that I know. So, all right, bye. Okay, so here we are at the sewing machine, and I'm just going to show a very quick way that I feel like is a lot easier to keep a nice, straight, even seam allowance all the way around your whole project. And this is definitely, remember, especially for kids or very beginner sewers, this can be the thing that makes your projects successful or not, especially if you're wanting to make clothes. So what I like to do, and I'm not sure, it's probably hard to tell there, but maybe I'll insert like a screenshot or something of this, but on your plate here, I'll lift it up so you can see, there are little guides. So it'll say that if you keep there, it's the 5/8 of an inch, right? Right here, the 1/4 of an inch. But sometimes that's hard, especially I've noticed for my little ones to see or to keep in line with, because it does blend in. So this is my trick. And you may have seen this before. So most of the time, your seam allowance is either going to be 1/4 of an inch or 5/8 of an inch. For beginner sewers, I like to try to keep them closer to the 5/8 of an inch because that gives us a lot of wiggle room. So I will just take some washi tape. I like washi tape or painter's tape, something that's going to peel off easily later, because I like to line it up right on that thing, and I like to do it all the way from where our presser foot is all the way down. So I know that's a little cumbersome at times. You can split the seam right there so you can still open and get to your bobbin and stuff. But if you do this, then it's a lot easier to keep your whole material in line. And here I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because, so I've got something I'm going to sew together here. And the seam allowance, remember, is the amount of space that is between where you're actually sewing the stitching and the edge of the fabric. So if you have a teeny tiny, this is something that happens a lot with beginners, or with my kid beginners, I've noticed they want to sew itty bitty over here, and then it will pull out. You know, it's not going to be a very good strong seam. So we've got to keep it over here. We're going to put it under, let's pull all my threads to the back, line it up right here with the edge of the washi tape, and then see how I've got it so they can go ahead and keep it in line all the way from where we start here all the way down there. So they've got good control to keep it nice and straight the whole way. And then a lot of times beginners are nervous to have their hands closer to the needle to control it. So this way you can stay a little further away without compromising your nice straight edge. And that is basically it. So here let me get to the end and I'll pull it out and we'll see if we kept it straight. This is not perfect. I'm sitting at a kind of an awkward angle. Just sharpen that. And see, we've got a nice straight seam. And see the seam allowance, that's this stuff over here that's left over. And if you are making clothes, that's the extra bit. So if I needed to alter it, let it out, I have a little extra room to grow. And that is what that is for. So that is my quick tip on keeping a straight seam allowance for beginners. Washi tape, it's your friend.